When a man goes inside a woman, it's not just a physical act. It's a moment that tests his depth, his control, and his truth. Because real intimacy doesn't just expose her body, it exposes his soul. Pause, every touch, every breath, every silence reveals who he truly is inside. A man may enter her body, but what truly enters her heart is his intention. The world has fooled men into believing that intimacy is about pleasure, conquest, or ego. But a man who has awakened to truth knows that every physical connection carries a spiritual consequence. When he goes inside her, it's not just skin meeting skin, it's energy meeting energy. It's a silent dialogue between two souls, one asking, "Can I trust you with my openness?" and the other answering, "Yes, I see you." A weak man uses that moment to escape his loneliness. He touches her body but never touches her spirit. He takes what he wants and leaves behind confusion, a void that echoes with his absence. Because his intention was never love, it was validation. He needed her to make him feel like a man, not realizing that true masculinity never depends on a woman's body. It's proven by a man's control over his own desires. A strong man is different. He feels the weight of what he's been given. Trust. He understands that when a woman lets him in, she's not just opening her body, she's opening her entire emotional being. She's saying, "I'm allowing you to see the parts of me no one else does." That's sacred, that's fragile, and only a conscious man can handle that responsibility, because intimacy is not performance, it's presence. It's not how wild you can make her feel, it's how safe you can make her feel while she's lost in you. A real man knows that his power isn't measured in dominance, but in gentleness. He doesn't need to prove himself. He simply is, steady, grounded, aware. When he touches her, his hands speak louder than his words. She can feel whether his touch comes from lust or from reverence, whether he's truly there or lost somewhere in his mind. That's what women remember. Not the act, not the rhythm, not the momentary thrill, but the energy, because energy never lies. A man who treats her like a body will always leave her empty, but a man who honors her as a soul will awaken something eternal inside her. He gives her a sense of peace, not confusion. He makes her feel seen, not used, and that feeling stays long after he's gone. The truth is, every encounter shapes both of them. When a man enters a woman without awareness, he absorbs her chaos and gives her his emptiness. When he enters her with awareness, he brings calm to her storm and draws power from her softness. That's the exchange of true intimacy, not taking, but transforming. A conscious man knows every woman he touches carries the memory of his energy. That's why he doesn't move carelessly. He doesn't chase pleasure. He chooses connection. He knows his presence leaves an imprint, and that imprint will either heal or harm. So he slows down, he breathes, he listens, not with his ears, but with his soul, because real connection can't be faked. You can't imitate presence. You can't pretend depth. A woman can feel your truth, even in silence. If you enter her to take, she will feel used. If you enter her to share, she will feel seen. If you enter her with emptiness, she will mirror that emptiness back to you. But if you enter her with peace, she will bloom in your presence. And that is the difference between a boy and a man. A boy wants the thrill. A man values the bond. A boy touches her for pleasure. A man touches her with purpose. A boy leaves her wondering. A man leaves her remembering. Because the real act of intimacy isn't about losing control. It's about mastering it. It's not about surrendering to lust. It's about awakening love with awareness. When a man moves with that kind of consciousness, every moment becomes sacred. Every breath becomes prayer. Every touch becomes truth. So remember, it's never just physical. It's spiritual. It's emotional. It's energy that speaks louder than words. Because long after the moment ends, she won't remember how you looked. She won't remember what you said. She'll remember how you made her feel, and that feeling, whether peace or pain, will be the real reflection of who you were when you were inside her. When he's inside her, the world disappears, the noise fades, time slows, and there's only one truth left, the state of his mind. Because in that silence, there's nowhere to hide. No titles, no muscles, no image to maintain, just him and what he truly is when everything else fades away. That's the moment that exposes his masculinity. Not the one the world glorifies, but the one that only she can feel. Is he restless, distracted, and ego-driven? Does he rush, chase, perform, trying to prove something to himself? Or is he calm, grounded, and fully present, unshaken, focused, and safe? Because a man's true nature always reveals itself in intimacy. You can't pretend to be a king when your mind is still ruled by chaos. You can't fake power when your spirit is still fragile. Real masculinity isn't about control over her. It's about control over yourself. It's not in how long you last, but in how deeply you connect. It's not about being aggressive. It's about being aware. Because when a man is truly present, she can feel it. She can feel that his energy is not consuming her. It's protecting her, and that's what women respond to. Not the performance, not the act, but the energy of a man who carries stillness inside the storm. She feels safe not because he's strong, but because his strength doesn't seek to overpower. It seeks to protect, it seeks to hold, it seeks to guide. That's why it's not dominance, it's direction. It's not lust, it's leadership. Leadership that says, you can let go because I am here. Because the truth is, a woman can only surrender when she feels safe. And safety comes from a man whose presence commands peace, not fear. A masculine man doesn't need to chase validation. He doesn't enter intimacy to prove he's enough. He already knows he is. He's not consumed by the thought of performance or perfection. He's focused on connection. Every move, every breath, every look comes from awareness, not anxiety. When he touches her, it's not out of hunger, it's out of reverence. Because he understands this isn't about conquering her body, it's about communicating something deeper. I am here with you, not above you, not beyond you, with you. In that moment, she feels his essence, not his ego. She feels his focus, not his force. And that's what separates the masculine man from the immature boy. A boy wants to be admired. A man wants to be understood. A boy moves from desire. A man moves from purpose. A boy hides behind pleasure. A man reveals his truth through presence. That's why when a woman is with a real man, she relaxes. Her body softens. Her breathing slows. Because she can finally feel that she's safe. Not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. She doesn't have to pretend. She doesn't have to protect herself, because his energy tells her, I'm not here to take from you. I'm here to share with you. That's the essence of masculine energy. Calm in chaos, control in passion, power without violence. It's the balance between strength and tenderness, between desire and discipline, between passion and peace. When a man embodies that, his presence becomes healing. It doesn't drain her, it restores her. It doesn't confuse her, it grounds her. Because his energy doesn't come from emptiness. It comes from fullness, from a man who has met himself, faced his shadows, and chosen to rise above them. In that space, she doesn't just feel pleasure, she feels trust. She doesn't just experience passion, she experiences peace. Because real masculinity doesn't excite chaos, it silences it. And that's why intimacy is not a test of performance. It's a mirror of power. Every moment he spends with her reveals the truth. Does his presence bring calm or conflict? Does he bring clarity or confusion? Does he lead her into safety or into self-doubt? Because the body can lie, but energy never does. And in that sacred stillness, when he's inside her, his soul speaks louder than his words ever could. So if a man wants to know who he truly is, Let him look at the woman in his arms. Does she feel seen, protected, and peaceful? If yes, then he's leading with masculine truth. If no, then he still has battles within himself to face. Because a woman's body is not a place to escape. It's a place to reveal. It reveals the strength of your presence, the purity of your heart, and the depth of your control. And when you can hold her with power that doesn't seek to dominate. When your stillness speaks louder than your movements. That's when you've found your real masculinity. In that sacred moment, energy flows both ways. It's not just bodies moving, it's souls speaking. She feels his chaos or his peace. He feels her softness or her pain. And if both are truly awake, something divine happens. Two worlds merge, and something far greater than pleasure is born: presence. Because real intimacy is never just about the body. It's about two energies meeting, two hearts, two histories, two silent universes, colliding in a single breath. When a man enters a woman, he doesn't just touch her physically, he steps into her energetic space. He enters the echo of her memories, the vibration of her emotions, the rhythm of her spirit, and in that moment, whether he realizes it or not, their energies begin to exchange. She absorbs what he carries. He absorbs what she releases. Her pain can become his heaviness. His peace can become her calm. That's why consciousness matters, because everything you are in that moment is being shared. If a man carries anger, confusion, or emptiness, she will feel it. It will move through her like static, unsettling, unspoken, unseen, but deeply felt. And if she carries wounds, insecurity, or fear, he will feel that too, even if he can't name it. Because energy doesn't ask for permission, it simply flows. That's the unseen truth of connection. You exchange more than touch. You exchange essence. That's why casual sex never feels right to a conscious man. He begins to see that every encounter leaves fingerprints on the soul. He realizes he's not just entering a body. He's entering a temple, and how he moves inside that temple reflects his awareness, his integrity, his truth. To him, it's not a game, it's a ritual. Because he knows, the moment you go inside someone, you leave a part of yourself behind. And you carry a part of them with you. That's not something to play with. That's something to honor. A man who understands this becomes selective, not out of arrogance, but out of wisdom. He doesn't chase every opportunity for pleasure because he knows the cost. He's seen what happens when souls entangle without consciousness, how emptiness grows, how energy feels heavy, how faces blur, but spirits remain stuck. He's learned that every touch writes something into his being, and not all stories are worth carrying. So he slows down, he looks deeper. He asks himself, can I meet this woman with full awareness? Can I give her peace, not pain? Because when both come together with truth, something beautiful happens. They don't just satisfy desire, they awaken divinity. It's as if the universe pauses to watch two souls remember what love is supposed to feel like. Unguarded, honest, and alive. That's the difference between lust and connection. Lust consumes. Connection expands. Lust drains energy. Connection creates it. Lust leaves you empty. Connection leaves you whole. And when two conscious beings merge, they don't lose themselves. They elevate each other. Her softness brings healing to his hardness. His strength brings grounding to her emotion. Together, they create a balance. Masculine and feminine energies dancing in harmony. That's the sacred exchange, not just of pleasure, but of presence. When he's fully aware, every breath becomes communication. Every movement becomes meditation. He feels her, not just her body, but her being. He listens to her energy, her breathing, her silence. And through her, he learns about himself, about how deep he can feel, how patient he can be, how human he truly is. That's why conscious intimacy changes you. It's not something you forget. It's something that marks your soul. Because you realize you were never just touching a body. You were touching a universe wrapped in skin. You were entering a heart that beats with lifetimes of emotion. And what you gave or took will echo long after the moment ends. So be mindful of who you share yourself with, because every act of intimacy is a spiritual contract, written not in words but in energy. You may walk away, but the energy stays. It lives in your body, your thoughts, your heart. That's why some people feel heavy after meaningless encounters, because they've traded pieces of their soul for moments that had no meaning. But when two awakened souls meet, when both come from a place of truth, intimacy becomes something sacred. It becomes healing. It becomes light. It becomes love that doesn't drain but restores. That's what it means to honor the exchange of souls, to understand that what happens in those moments isn't casual, it's cosmic. And when you carry that awareness, you'll never treat intimacy the same way again, because you'll know what you touch touches you back, what you give, you receive, and what you awaken in another is what lives forever inside you.